You are on India Today podcasts and you are in the sledging room. Alrighty then, we are just less than 3 months away from the 2023 ODI Cricket World Cup. Lot of excitement a few days back when the schedule was announced, the whole itinerary, India versus Pakistan, as we all know. But I mean, there is going to be talk. There's going to be a lot of talk around that. There's going to be talk of the 2011 World Cup as well, because the Cricket World Cup is returning to Asia after 11 years. Of course, 2011 was co-hosted by India, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. Now this is exclusively in India. It's the first time that a nation team is hosting a World Cup all on its own. Has there been any instance? England last time, 2019? Australia, New Zealand co-hosted that in 2019, 2015. Sorry.
Yes.
So there's plenty of excitement. There'll be the usual comparisons, but on the sledging room, Akshay Ramesh missing again, by the way.
Yes.
Holidaying in Chennai.
Yeah.
Had some exciting times. Not such good times also.
Yeah.
I mean, poor guy is not been able to cap off his vacation in the most exciting way. Don't know what he's ended up doing there. We'll get more inputs. We'll get them back on. We'll get his inputs on the sledging room as well, dissecting the Chennai vacation. But before the Chennai vacation, before diving deeper into the Chennai vacation, it's important to look at why the comparisons may not really hold water, right? Saurabh, Alan, I'll quickly start with the batting, for instance, right? Rohit, Gill, Kohli, that's your top three.
Yes.
You don't know who your top four would be. Surya Kumar Yadav hasn't had the best time in one-day cricket. Shreyas Iyer, recovering. KL Rahul, recovering. Rishabh Pant, racing against time to recover. Sanju Samson, question mark. Who's your wicket keeper now? You don't know in the one-day format. Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja, the finishers. They haven't really given you a big enough sample size in one-day cricket. They've done some decent work in certain chases, but not a big enough sample size in one-day cricket. But you go back 12 years down to a batting lineup that started with Sehwag, Tendulkar, Gambhir, Kohli, who was up and coming at that time.
Kohli.
Then you had Yuvraj, MS Dhoni, and then you had the likes of Suresh Raina. Yusuf Pathan was injured. Raina came and played a couple of brilliant knocks. I was just going through some numbers, and the years before that, Saurabh, they had such excellent records. Tendulkar, Yuvraj was on fire, as was MS Dhoni. They were at the peak of their careers leading into the 2011 ODI World Cup. And look at the bowling options that team had. 7 to 8 at any stage. No matter what combination you played, you had 4 main frontline bowlers plus 3 or 4 others to fill in. Sehwag, Tendulkar, Raina, Yuvraj. How is this team comparing?
I don't think we can compare this team with that team at all. There is no comparison. Because if you see the current batting order of Indian cricket team, the likes of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, I think they are in their final stage of their career. It is a sad thing, but it is the fact right now. And considering how they have been batting in this build-up to the World Cup, it's not going to help Indian team at all. Especially, you see your top 4 batsmen, like you pointed out, we have Shubman Gill. Shubman Gill is in the peak of his form right now. But what about Rohit Sharma? Virat Kohli, he scored a couple of centuries, but then you saw what happened in WTC final, in that Australia series, except that 100. And coming at number 4, you don't have a number 4 right now. Iyer is injured. KL Rahul is injured. He's not part of the team. I don't know what is happening. Rishabh Pant, as you said, racing is time to be fit. What is happening? 3 months into the World Cup, you are going to host a World Cup. So much to build up. We are hoping that a lot of people have said that India won that 2011 World Cup for Sachin Tendulkar, and India will win this, if they will win this World Cup for the likes of Virat Kohli.
Did Sehwag not say that? He's kind of set the tone for it. But you talked of Virat Kohli's hundreds. Off late, he scored over the last 6 months or thereabout. He scored 3 ODI hundreds. Broke his hundreds dot in the one-day format. One of them against Bangladesh.
And 2 against Sri Lanka.
And 2 against under-strength Sri Lanka.
Yes.
Who, by the way, just qualified for the World Cup through the Cricket World Cup qualifiers in Zimbabwe. And that was an under-strength Sri Lanka. Didn't get hundreds against New Zealand.
No.
And India lost that ODI series to Australia. So that has been your level of preparation. Of course, the Asia Cup is coming up.
Yeah.
Gaping holes.
Absolutely. I think not just with the players that we have. I think even with the mentality. Like the day that the schedule was announced, I remember listening to Virender Sehwag saying that now you have stated how these players have performed over the years coming into the World Cup. He said, we considered every game to be a World Cup final.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every game was a final. That was our approach going into every single match, be it any bilateral series or anything. Here we are still struggling to find combinations. We are giving people time. We are telling them the Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma coming in saying that, oh, we are looking for greater combinations. We are looking for this. Why? Where was the build-up when it came to, you knew that 2023 you are going to host the World Cup. Where was the build-up coming in 2021 and 2022? When your main players, like you said, Sachin, Sehwag, they were all probably in their, twilight of their careers at that time. But they were still in great form.
Yes.
Sachin was in great form heading into the World Cup. In the World Cup, he was the highest run getter. Can we expect that from a Virat Kohli right now? I am doubtful. I am very doubtful. If Shubman Gill fails, I think all the hopes are pinned onto Shubman Gill. He is someone who seems to be fit across all three formats.
Yeah.
Apart from that, Rohit Sharma, fitness questions are raised. How many matches did he play in the last year? How many one-day matches or how much game time did he get? They are given rest, everything. I don't think Sachin took a rest during the build-up to the World Cup. So the mentality is also questionable here. It's not just about the form, the mentality going into the World Cup. You cannot afford to drop a mentality, your
it's
mentality
not just,
in the World Cup.
You're right. It's about the mentality and it's about the way you're looking at a World Cup year. Here, I'll give you some numbers, which you also have. Sehwag scored 810 runs in 2009, 446 of that were 2010. Tendulkar, you mentioned about his form, 972 runs in 2009. Didn't play too many ODIs in 2010. Yeah. I think he was recuperating from an injury. He played that magnificent knock in Napier. I think after that he was kind of recovering from an injury in 2010. So that took its toll. Kohli was up and coming at that stage, 325 in 2009, which was, I think, his first full year in international cricket after debuting in 2008. He scored nearly 1,000 runs in 2010. You have Yuvraj Singh, who was battling cancer, as we now know, in 2011. He was in outstanding form since 2005. Outstanding, 1,000 runs, I think, in 2 or 3 of those years. MS Dhoni, the captain, he didn't have a great World Cup till the final.
Yeah.
It's well documented now, but he had a phenomenal run. 1,000 plus runs from 2007 to 2009. He scored 1,198 runs in 2 years before that World Cup. So imagine that kind of depth that you had. And we haven't even gotten to the bowling, by the way.
Yeah.
Jasprit Bumrah, where is he? How is his injury management being worked out? Shreyas Iyer, another potent batter in these conditions, he's still recovering. KL Rahul obviously had that surgery recently. So, those are big holes in that lineup. Talking of that bowling lineup, Saurabh, India had 4 frontline bowlers.
Yes.
Then you had Yuvraj Singh, who made a major impact with his bowling in the 2011 World Cup. Tendulkar, Sehwag, Raina. Even Kohli would roll his arm over. Yeah. Over the last so many years, Rohit and Kohli just stopped bowling completely. Rohit was quite a handy bowler.
Yeah. He has a hat-trick in IPL.
Yes.
Two hat-tricks. I'm sorry, 2 hat-tricks in IPL. What has he done after that? He's just not bowling.
Nothing.
He's saying he says that his finger is not good enough to bowl spin bowling. Why?
Give it a shot, I guess.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. I mean,
no, I hope he doesn't.
Right now, Jasprit Bumrah, who is supposed to be your pace spearhead, is out injured. Nobody knows, at least in public, nobody knows when he will come back. Siraj is your top ODI bowler, I think.
Yeah.
Who else? Arshdeep Singh? You did not give him a chance in the West Indies series.
Yeah.
You haven't looked at Umran Malik. And Deepak Chahar is out injured. Shardul Thakur, what sort of role is he going to have in the subcontinent? So it's mainly Hardik Pandya as your number 6 bowler. Alan, before you get into the bowling as well, Saurabh, I was also trying to analyze and compare the current top 4 or 5, like I did with the 2011 World Cup winning side. I couldn't find a top 5. Rohit, but you also have to look at 23 from the prism of the pandemic, right?
Yes.
Before 2020, again, Rohit Sharma was in excellent form in the 2019 World Cup. The pandemic sort of affected, it was kind of a disruptor, but that is not an excuse because you look at teams like Australia and England, how well they have
prepared,
shaped,
yes.
right? They have prepared. Rohit has just played 11 ODIs across the last 2 years before 2023. So that's not again a big enough sample size. Kohli again, he was poor in 2022, broke that hundreds dot in Bangladesh. Started this year well, but again against understrength teams.
Yes.
Right. He didn't do well in against Australia. Surya Kumar Yadav, horror run in 2023 so far. Those 3 golden ducks, but again he's too good a player to be doing that consistently.
Yeah.
And you don't have Pant. As of yet, as of now, there's no word on Shreyas Iyer and there's no word on KL Rahul. Hardik and Jadeja, he already said that at the offset. Not a big enough sample size. On top of that, like Saurabh pointed out, your bowling woos. You haven't given Arshdeep Singh a long row.
Yep.
You haven't given Umran Malik any sort of look, consistent
no
look there.
No.
Where is Saini in the one-day format? Where is, beg your pardon, not Saini, Prasidh Krishna? Right, so you are, a bit of a soup. Mohammad Shami, obviously, along with Siraj, probably will hold
lead,
that pace attack. But again, if I had enough hair, I would have probably wanted to tear some.
It again comes down to the comparison, right? So I remember watching the 2011 World Cup, that final where Sahir Khan bowled 5 overs for just 6 runs.
Yeah,
you need to have someone like that opening your bowling, putting that fear into your into the opposition's batters. Now, like today, now it's been 1 year since Jasprit Bumrah went to the Oval and wrecked the England batting lineup. He picked up 6 wickets for 19 in 7.2 overs. And after that, it has been downhill for him. We have not seen him bowl. Can a Siraj put up that kind of a performance? Yes, there is aggression with him, but is he that good enough? Is he that good enough to be your main guy? I remember conversations with my friends where they used to say, oh, Bumrah is so good right now, he is going to be your lead bowler. We are sorted in the subcontinent. But where is he now? Like you said, there is no...
How much cricket has Bumrah played in the subcontinent again? I mean, apart from the IPL and few...
I don't think...
He has not... I think...
That's the worrying trend.
Yeah.
It's 2.5... It's less than 3 months. We are talking about the 2011 World Cup side. They went to South Africa, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
They lost that series, but they had some stellar performers.
Yes.
Yusuf Pathan came of age. You had some brilliant bowling performances from Munaf Patel who stood out. So you had that kind of lineup.
Yes.
Now look at this team. The captain, he's been criticized severely and rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. Some of that body language is just pathetic. That performance against Australia, that whole team, the way they completely capitulated. It was horrifying to watch. And your roles are still not clear.
And you will never expect that kind of performance from an Indian team.
Exactly.
Star-studded Indian
At
team.
home.
At home. Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli. You have everyone, every top batter in the team. And you fail to win a series against Australia at home. You're going to play a World Cup less than when the ODI series against Australia happened. 6 months were there, I think. And Rahul Dravid came out and said before the IPL started, he said that yes, we have identified a group of players. Who are those players? What have been they doing before the World Cup?
And
if you look at it,
the similar comments came from Dravid before the T20 World Cup as well.
And we all
know also what happened.
We all know what happened.
It's the same trend with this. I don't know if it is the management who has to be blamed for this, but it has to be them. I don't know who it has to be. Has it to be the team management or the powers above? Because you saw the T20 World Cup, how we reached the semi-final. We were expected to reach the semi-final. But what happened in that crunch game? We lost again. But then again, the combinations were never there. Was a player like Virat Kohli set to be your best T20 batter? No, right. You had Surya Kumar Yadav taking up that role. But who was supporting a Surya Kumar Yadav? Did your opening pair do good enough? Like, did they do justice to that position being in that T20I squad? The same thing has to come into the ODIs setup as well. Where are these identified players? If that was the case, then why are there so many gaping holes?
I also don't want to be too negative in a World Cup year. Hopefully India can do well. Hopefully India can break that ICC tournaments drought. And a lot of... Let's also be hopeful. But those right questions have to be asked, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's also, since both of you referred to mentality, I mean, is it not true that these guys at least don't seem motivated enough to win these ICC tournaments? They can talk all that they want. But look at the way Tendulkar prepared. Look at the way Yuvraj Singh prepared. I mean, that is now part of folklore, right? Battling cancer, battling so much pain. He would vomit after every match, playing in those conditions. And look at what he did. Look at MS Dhoni, the way he had shaped up before the World Cup. Captain leading from the front. I believe he was number 1 ODI batter. He was the world's best ODI batter before the World Cup.
Yeah.
You came with that sort of form.
Yeah.
Because I covered the 2011 World Cup, I remember seeing the team and they were so keen. You could see a silent sort of resilience among all those players. Do you see that now? Is the question.
No.
You cannot, excuses are not good enough anymore. And now you don't have any excuses.
Yeah.
Now you're playing at home. There can be no excuses. Now semi-finals cannot be good enough.
Yeah.
You have to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
There's such a fan following, Saurabh, in this country. Look at stadiums that are packed. They are packed to the rafters. And this is what you do. After, not winning ICC tournaments, you say that, we don't want to listen to outside noise. When is any noise of any potent importance to you?
See, whatever you say, you are going to play ODI World Cup at your home. You have to win it. Last time when we played a World Cup at home, we won it.
Yeah.
What happened before that? 1996. We played an ODI World Cup at home. We lost to Sri Lanka in the quarterfinals, I think, at Eden Gardens. The crowd went crazy.
In semi-finals,
Semi-finals, I'm sorry.
Yes.
96. So you just can't expect things to happen like that.
Yeah.
You have to come out with a performance. You have got everything. BCCI is the richest board. It has given you everything. The team management should have identified players.
Yeah.
And what is this nonsense of coming out and saying, we don't worry. Well, Rahul Dravid said before the WTC final, we don't worry
We're
about
not under pressure to win. You should
if you are a professional cricketer, you should be feeling the pressure of winning trophies for the national team. I remember Arsenal coach Mikel Arteta said, he was asked, your team has not been able to perform in past 2 seasons. Arsenal had finished 8th in the Premier League. Are you feeling the pressure? He said, if I'm not feeling the pressure, I'm in the wrong job.
Exactly.
I think
but also, just a word about the Eden Gardens crowd behavior that in that game. That was unacceptable and irresponsible. I hope none of that happens in any stadium.
Yeah, obviously.
But we're talking of disappointment among fans, and that is all right. You can express it. But what happened at the Eden Gardens in 1996 is completely unacceptable and completely, irresponsible in any sort of sporting platform. So, but yes, you have a point when you say that these guys should feel the pressure.
Of course.
That's what professional sports should do.
Again, it all comes down, again, I'm going back in circles to the mentality thing. I think I remember seeing when India won that test series, the first time when they won that test series in Australia, a coach came out, Ravi Shastri came out and he said, this team will look into the eyes of the other teams and say that we can do this. This is what we are made of. In 2011, I remember Sahir Khan he has had his fair share of injuries. But throughout the tournament, he even developed his bowling into a sense that he started bringing out the knuckle ball also. I remember him cleaning up Mike Hussey during that match against Australia. A perfect knuckle ball. I think I have not seen a perfect knuckle ball from anybody else. People were ready to evolve in that tournament. That is the main thing. People were ready to improve their game, take their game up a notch because that team felt the pressure. You could bring in the Sachin element into it. They all wanted to win for Sachin Tendulkar. That could be a great thing. Yeah, whatever. But all those players felt the pressure to win it.
So are you saying that there won't be enough motivation to win it for Virat Kohli? That there was more motivation to win it for Sachin Tendulkar.
I wouldn't.
Kohli, Tendulkar.
I think.
Are you drawing that comparison? Tendulkar. I'm just saying.
See, if Kohli wants to win the World Cup, it's plain and simple.
But
he should perform.
Did his part.
Yeah.
Tendulkar did his
exactly.
It was not like Tendulkar being carried.
People carried Tendulkar.
Yeah.
Tendulkar carried the team
at
times.
By the way, he was unfortunately run out in the first game. Right?
Yes.
Mix up with Sehwag.
In the Bangladesh game,
didn't get a lot of runs in the final. But in between, that man literally carried that Indian batting lineup.
Exactly.
Of course, Yuvraj Singh played brilliantly. There were a few blinders from Gambhir here, Raina there. But that World Cup, Tendulkar was in a different league. And he has been in a lot of these World Cups. So, you got to give credit where due. But, before we also move on to the West Indies, where India will be engaged with that first test match, starting the WTC cycle. It's also about India are they in sync with the rest of the world, the way ODI cricket has evolved, especially since 2019. Look at what happened to England in 2015. Look at the way they reshaped and remodeled their one-day game.
Yeah.
Australia, they're beginning to look very aggressive. You have some of the other teams. Pakistan, by the way, they're looking like a fully wholesome team. You look at Sri Lanka's bowling lineup. You look at that spin lineup from Afghanistan.
Going to be
Bangladesh,
dangerous.
yes, they lost that series to Afghanistan, but they also defeated you when you went to Bangladesh last year. So, are you in sync? But I still believe that, India, Australia, England will be among the top 4. I'm a little lost for the 4th spot because, again, Pakistan, do they have that quality and the mentality to make it last till the, in a tournament format like this? So, that's where I'm going to be a little lost. But, calling a top 4 will be a little too early.
Yeah.
I think India, Australia, England, they should be. Quality-wise, despite the fault lines that the Indian team have, they should be able to make it to the semi-finals. But it's what happens beyond that. You want India to win the World Cup.
Yeah, we all expect India to play the semi-finals. We are playing at home. And see, I don't know how they are going to perform. But I will expect a Rohit Sharma to come up and lead from the front.
Yeah.
What he did in 2019 World Cup. He was not the captain. I think he was the vice captain. But he was absolutely phenomenal.
Yes.
Those 500s in a World Cup in England.
Yes.
Nobody can match that.
But that is what it comes down to, right? Do you expect that? That is my question. Can you want it? Like we all want it. As fans, we do want it. But can you expect it from his current form? That is my question.
If you ask me, it's a World Cup year. You are the captain of Indian team. It does not matter what you have done till now. It just does not matter. You have to take it into your hands and you have to score those runs. He has looked good in patches. He has not scored those runs. He can score those runs and he should score those runs because India needs those runs.
At the end of the day, it's what do you have to lose? You've been criticized.
Yeah.
Former captains are calling out, especially after the WTC final defeat, you've been called out for, lack of effort, lack of gumption, whatever it is. What else you have to lose? Play fearless cricket.
The Sri Lanka team, for example, before the World Cup qualifier started, people were coming out and saying, what if Sri Lanka miss out on qualifying for the World Cup? But look what they have done. I'm not saying that this is going to guarantee them a very good position in the ODI World Cup. But they have come out all guns blazing. They're spinners, they're batters. India should do something like this. No, this talk of whatever has happened has happened. What you have to do, that is more important because winning a World Cup is...
But that's the thing, right, Saurabh? If you have to go all guns blazing, you need to have a team set. Do we have that team set?
See, I will just pin my hope on what Rahul Dravid said. He has identified a group of players. I hope.
But he also identified that same group before the 2022 T20 World Cup. Okay. Enough of the World Cup because we have to move on. And Anna is tearing us down because this is a unique recording. We're literally playing off the final over with 6 to get. So she needs to get those 6 balls in quickly so that she can win. So we head off quickly to the West Indies series as well. India starting the 3rd cycle of the World Test Championship. Plenty of questions to be answered. Again, West Indies team reading from one shock after another. This Indian team in transition, but they've also hinged their faith on some of the seniors. Rohit Sharma gets to retain his captaincy. Rahane named vice captain. Pujara dropped. Virat Kohli, obviously, a lot of expectations from him. But Yashasvi Jaiswal, India's latest test opener, and Shubman Gill, India's new number 3. Will that solve some of those puzzles in the current editions of WTC?
If you are going to ask about solving puzzles, we'll have to look and see how they perform. But seeing the current form, I was expecting Yashasvi Jaiswal to come at number 3. And Shubman Gill, as he has performed as an opener should have opened. But as Rohit Sharma came out and said Shubman Gill wanted to bat at number 3 and Yashasvi Jaiswal, he is going to open the innings. He has been very good for Mumbai in the domestic red ball cricket.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how he comes out because you cannot ignore this West Indies bowling attack. You see them, Kemar Roach. They have got Alzari Joseph, Kemar Roach, San Gabriel. They have been very good. And they are experienced pacers who have performed very nice in their home conditions in the red ball cricket. So we will have to wait and see how they come up the age and how they perform.
I think one of the things that I liked about this Shubman Gill transfer to number 3, I've always believed that he shouldn't be an opener, at least in Test cricket. I feel he would eventually take it over from a guy like Virat Kohli. I think I like the fact that
you're already pushing Virat Kohli out.
I feel
what is this new renewed?
For me personally, I feel once his time comes to an end, I think Gill is going to take over. Because I feel
like substitute for Akshay there.
I have that thing with Gill because I followed him from that under-19 World Cup. And from then I could see that, this guy is going to be that middle order person. And I like the fact that he came out and said, Rohit said that Gill has been telling Rahul Dravid that I want to bat at number 3.
And that's what Rohit has told us. We don't know what's the conversation.
We don't know what the conversation is.
But I think we also discussed that on the sledging room that, Shubman Gill will move to number 3 because Yashasvi Jaiswal is the opener. Gill has been mostly your number 3 in domestic cricket. India under 19 as well.
Yeah.
That's where he'd fancy his position, and obviously he'd want to keep opening in the one-day format because that's where he's been getting the bulk of his runs. So it'll be an interesting turn because you're also looking at a couple of new pacers. Siraj obviously will be leading that attack. Will it be Jaidev Unadkat who will make an impact in the series? Mukesh Kumar is also in the fray. So you'll have a lot of option. You won't have a lot of option among the pacers because Bumrah is out, Shami is not here, Umesh is not playing.
Yeah.
So you'll have to look at the future as well because by the time the third WTC final comes up, and if India are in a position to play that, how many of these players will actually be part of the playing 11? And you have some tough tests along the way. Right after the Bangladesh test, the West Indies test matches, you're going to South Africa towards the end of the year, and you cap it off with the tour of Australia at the end of 2024. So those are some very, very challenging tests for India to look ahead to. But okay, also, final word about Rohit Sharma. Yes, this is a challenging phase for him. WTC final defeated. 2022, the T20 World Cup semi-final defeat. Now, criticism galore, right? This is a whole new test for him. Is the real test for him now to put in process a proper transition? That, okay, you know what? Rahane is not going to be a future long-term captain. You have someone like Shubman Gill. Maybe you have someone like Rishabh Pant who's sitting out because of the road accident. So you'll probably, now he'll feel the pressure that, or maybe he'll go with such Gabe Anderson and say, you know what? Forget everything. This is the last hurrah for me in this format of the game. Let me just take it and see how far we can go in 2025.
I think he will look for the transition thing. Because right now, everyone, Rohit Sharma, Indian cricket team, they're all focused on the IC ODI World Cup, which is just 3 months away.
Yeah.
And Test series, it's good. They have played a World Test Championship final. They are playing a West Indies. And then I think they are playing South Africa at the end of year. It's 5-6 months away. So I think he will go and look for that transition thing in this test format.
Yeah.
Who is going to take over? That will be a different thing.
That is a whole different ball.
Because
You don't even know who your successor
because we have
for the vice captaincy
so
position
many vice
is.
captains in past 2 years.
Yeah.
KL Rahul, Jasprit Bumrah has taken over as captain for one test match. Rishabh Pant was supposed to take over as he was batting, but he's injured, out injured.
Forget vice captaincy. How many captains have you had over the last year?
Yes.
How many test captains?
Multiple captaincy policy that I think KKR adopted in the
musical chair of captaincy.
Yeah, 2009 IPL. 4 captains. I don't know who, and none of these 4 captains have really stood up as well. Probably, I think of all of them, probably Hardik showed a little more, again, mentality. Apart from that, I don't know. There are a lot of... once again, I agree with what Saurabh says. I don't really see Rohit Sharma going beyond maybe a year or so in all formats of the game. He is on the decline. So I think it would be a better thing for him to find that successor for him in all formats of the game. I think white ball cricket, I think it's more or less spinning towards Hardik Pandya. I think Test cricket, I think that would be his... his main goal, I guess, of sorts, to find a team combination in terms of pacers and also finding a successor for him. Because, again...
But, when we talk about India's transition, when we talk about what India looking to gain, let's not also undermine the West Indies test team at home. Yes, they didn't qualify for the T20 World Cup last year, the ODI World Cup this year, but they are a different beast. I'm not saying they're world beaters, but look at the way they were pretty competitive in Australia.
Yeah.
Yes.
They have been very good at home.
Yeah.
And the last time you played the West Indies was 4 years back. So this is a very different, not a, in terms of talent pool, but they're looking a lot more settled. You have some really good players. Craig Brathwaite has been superb, leading from the front. Tagnani Chanderpaul, the great Shivnani Chanderpaul's son, he's come off. Jermaine Blackwood, you have Alzari Joseph, you have Jason Holder. You have a good Gautam bowling lineup there as well. Who's the
bowling lineup? Yes.
Kemar Roche. Yeah. So that's quite significantly experienced. And the Indian pace attack doesn't have that sort of experience on this tour.
Yeah.
Siraj, obviously, the most experienced of the lot.
Exactly.
But you can't really undermine the West Indies team as well. So we'll
you
become.
should not.
You can't. You can't. I mean, they've had a fun build up to the series. So, the West Indies, lovely place to be. I haven't been there ever. The Caribbean. I hope I can go and spend one holiday in Dominica. It looks like a lovely place. Every time India play cricket, there you see so much footage. Remember last time also from some
Even
of
the
the
fanfare
islands
as
in the
well.
West Indies.
Even the fanfare as well
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
Indian team.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a great place to go and play cricket.
And there are lovely people, the people from the Caribbean. So who wouldn't want to go spend a vacation there? But unfortunately, that's all that we have on the Sledging Room this time. Running against time, like several of India's cricket stars, to find form for the ODI World Cup. But we are not running against time, racing against time to find form. We are in fine form. We'll ask those questions, sharp questions. And if you want to reach out to us, you know what to do. You can email us on pods@indiatoday.com and ping us on 8588 966 And if you are consuming the Sledging Room on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, you can also come back and rate us, the podcast that is, and leave your valuable comments, because we would want to read them out. And of course, those comments that come out on YouTube, we will promise to bring them to you next week onward. But thank you so much for joining us. Have a cracking week, and hopefully India can get off to a fine start in the third edition of the World Test Championship. Thank you.